Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hope. My name is Tammy Lynn Connors. This is my YouTube channel and podcast, helping other people evolve. Today, I'm super excited to have my new friend Kim on here. Hi, Kim. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. I always say friend because now you're my friend. I always tell people that, like, you're stuck with me now. So I'm super excited to hear your story. Kim is from Montreal, Canada. How's the weather up there right now?
Actually, today it's spectacular. And quite honestly, this winter, I can't say one bad thing. It's been fantastic.
Yeah.
So yes, the birds are out and it's wonderful.
Yeah, we've had that weather too here in Ohio. Like we had like 1 week of freezing cold, but other than that, today it's supposed to be like close to 60. I'm like, I'll take it.
Me
Sunshine.
too.
So
Yeah.
it's awesome. So for those of you that don't know what hope is, and what my mission and vision is, I started this just to help people to know that they don't struggle alone. I feel like so many people in this world feel like they're at home, they're alone in their struggles, nobody else is going through anything, and they might hear a story of hope and be able to get out of bed that day. Unfortunately, a lot of people have been through struggles like Kim has and I have, but fortunately, we've learned to get to a strength through those struggles. And I don't say life's perfect now, but I do say that we are able to function and get through our days. So Kim has this story of hope of sobriety. You just celebrated a big one,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
11 years. 11
11
years.
years. That's incredible. I just love that when I saw your post, I was like, I'm sharing this. Everybody needs to see this. So yeah, so I'm super excited. So Kim, I guess we'll just go ahead and where it started, where maybe before your addiction started or when it started and how you got to the sobriety. I might interrupt you here and there just so just to kind of go back and reflect a little bit. So okay, all right.
Sure. So basically, my story is a bit different than most people's because in 2013, my 13-year-old son, Matthew, who was a huge football player, started having grand mal seizures from one day to the next. So the first thing was the coaches figured it was concussion related or whatever, and he would be fine. But as time went on, we realized that in fact he would be epileptic and would be on medication for the rest of his life. So needless to say, from going to playing football 5 days a week to a mother that was a maniac, wouldn't let him ride a bike because we never knew when the next seizure was coming. Our life was just turned upside down. So long story short, this was in 2013. He got on some medication, and after about 3 or 4 months, I said, okay, Matthew, you can't just stay downstairs playing video games. We have to get you back out with your gang of guys and, just try and get back to as normal as we could. And 3 or 4 times after he had gone out, he would call me half an hour, 40 minutes after he left the house and come and get me. So the fourth time I went and I said, no, there's something wrong here. What is going on, And I did it in a very quiet space where it was just the two of us, where he could tell me how he was feeling. And he said, Mom, I just don't fit in. Everybody drinks or does drugs, and I just don't fit in. So I said, oh, come on, Matthew. You don't need alcohol or drugs to have fun. And as I said it, I had the biggest glass of wine in my hand. And at that moment, it was like a truck hit me, and I just said to him, okay, I'm going to stop drinking for 3 months, Matthew. It was more to prove a point, but also for him to see that I was supporting him. And after 3 months came and went, he said to me, see, Mom, now you can be like everybody else. And I thought, oh, no, this is not working. And also, if I step back a bit, everywhere I went during those first 3 months, everybody said, you don't have a problem. What are you doing? Come here in the corner, have a drink with us. We won't tell anybody. And I thought, wow, if it's this hard for me at 52 at the time, how is he going to manage a teenager? And so, needless to say, I did another 3 months. And then I'd hear him say things like, my mother stopped drinking, like when the kids would come with the backpack with the booze and the beer and the little bottles of vodka or whatever, right? Because kids are kids. I mean, it's just the way it was, right? And he would say, no, you guys can't bring that in the house. So he blamed me, I blamed him, kind of thing. The first while we played this dance. And as more time went on, I realized that in fact, for me, I was drinking too much. A bottle of wine a night is too much.
Mm,
And, I was never underneath a bridge or any of these
right,
stories that people
right.
said, well, you didn't have a problem. Well, obviously, there
Mm,
had to be something because it's 11 years later, I still don't want to have that sip because I don't want to lose what I found.
yeah.
And here we are. And, Sober is the New Cool was born for him to be able, because he was not addicted to anything, but
Mhm.
he couldn't talk about the fact that he was epileptic. He couldn't talk about the fact that he couldn't drink without feeling like an outsider or he owed everybody a long, like it was
Yes.
just too much. So my sister made a logo. I did a trademark. Don't ask me why. It was all from a kitchen, island. And we made a Facebook page, didn't know what I was doing. And the letters and the comments just started coming in. And at that point, that was over 11 years ago. The only thing that was around that was being talked about was something called Hello Sunday Morning or AA. But
Okay.
Hello Sunday Morning was the only thing online that I could find.
Yeah.
So it just blew up. And here we are. And
Yeah.
here we are.
That's so amazing. And I want to hold up 1 second. How old did you say you were 11 years ago?
See, I just turned 63. So I was
Well, you look
52 when that started. Yeah.
absolutely amazing. I do have to compliment your hair. I love your hair.
I love yours.
Thanks. So it's funny because I just somebody just asked me yesterday, like, well, what is your real hair color? I'm like, this, this is
Yeah.
it. It's real deal. But so when you talked about when you stopped, of course, like right then, it wasn't like you really thought you had a problem, but you did it for your son, really.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
there's so many times, and I think this is important to talk about because in different areas, they say you have to stop for you. You have to stop for you. When I stopped, the same thing. Like I mean, mine was a whole different story. I weighed 85 pounds. I was jaundiced. I had pancreatitis 3 times. So I feel like I was probably ready to die. But when I quit, it wasn't for me. It was for my son that was in the other room because
Yeah.
my father passed away at 34 years old. He drowned in our bathtub from alcoholism. And all I could think in my head is, I'm going to die and my son's going to find me like we found my dad. I can't do that to him. So at that point, it had nothing to do with me. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I love that you said that because I think people need to hear that because, they're like, well, you got to do it for you. And I understand that part, but sometimes it takes that other person that we have to do it for to get us to where
And
we be.
yes, and to be honest, no matter what reason you have to stop, if that's what it takes, I wouldn't do a diet before that unless there was wine included in it. And
Right.
it was the joke. It was a joke, right? Like, oh, can we, we did Weight Watchers because we could
Right.
count our points with the wine, right? And
Right.
so, and a lot of people said, well, you can't do it for him. And I said, yes, I can. Because in fact, I loved him more than I loved myself. It was that
Yes.
simple,
That's
you
simple.
know?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the other thing that you said that I love that you said is, so many people look at an alcoholic, you got to be under the bridge, drinking out of a brown bag, a loser in life, just all those things. And I was a very functioning alcoholic. So I worked at my job 60 to 70 hours a week. I knew I was an alcoholic though, but at the same time, you're talking about that, you drink a bottle of wine a night. What
Yeah.
is that normal? No,
No,
right.
no.
But people but they won't think that somebody's an alcoholic because they have drink a bottle of wine a night or things like that, and then once it starts affecting something, your children or your life, then that's when we have to take that look in the mirror and be like, yeah, this is not normal, you know?
No. And the more it went on and the better I felt. And the first year, I mean, I was so consumed with his being well. And all I wanted to do was fix him, right? As a
Right,
mom, you want to
right.
fix everything.
Yes.
And I couldn't. So it was really all about him. So I didn't, even though I didn't go many places, because all of a sudden I realized I loved going, Sunday night was red wine with Italian food. Sushi was rosé. Like it was all these
Sure.
associations that I found myself going, oh, wow, this is like crazy.
Yeah. And so now, um, I'm pretty sure, because you say sober is the new cool, that you are out there living life. and happy, right?
I mean, for me, I find that I always had a great life, basically, even through Matthew, everything that happened. I've had a good life. I was lucky, I had good parents. We had problems of alcohol in our family, so I'm not a stranger to it. But all in all, like I had a pretty good life. But I realized without the liquor, for me, I just feel like I'm living a full life.
Yeah.
And I feel that in the last 12 years or so, the people that I've been blessed enough to meet, I mean, there has to be something bigger than me and more important, because I wake up, I seem to know who to text, who to reach out to, and people say, "How did you know?" And I go, "I don't know."
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
wonderful. Just everything is so much better.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, I didn't know you 12 years ago, but I could see just your smile and your glow and all of that. That's what attracted me to you. Is that just that you have that. And when you say that, I talk about this a lot, and I think people need to hear this more. When you talked about something bigger than us, and I believe God, and I'm pretty sure that's what you said too. But when somebody comes to my mind now, I reach out to that person. And the same
Yeah.
thing, they're like, how did you know? Like I talk about this for the reason to other people. Like if somebody you're thinking about, reach out to them. And it might not be they're in a crisis. They might just need to hear from you, or they'll be like, oh, I was just thinking about you too, right? Because that happens a lot. And but I had a friend, and this is why I talk about this, is a few years ago, I saw her on Facebook. Nothing dramatic or anything was going on in her picture or post. And I think I haven't reached out to her in a while. And I sent her a text like, hey, I just saw your post, just wondering how you're doing. She said, and this makes me, no matter when I think of somebody, I have to reach out to them. She said, I cannot believe you just reached out to me. She's like, I love my son so much. I'm going through a divorce right now. And I was sitting on my bed contemplating suicide. And I said, God, send me something. And here came your message. And now she's doing great. And, everything's going good in her life and all that. But it was that one message. So when I feel like, when we think of people, there's a reason. It's not just because. If there's a reason that person just came across her mind, and just send them a hi, how you doing? Because you just don't know, and I think that's really important. And being sober and living out loud and living happy shows so many people that it's okay. And like your son, like you don't have to drink to fit in,
Yeah. And the other thing too, I think, there are 7 billion people in this world.
Yes.
And so I am so amazed at how different people have come into my life. I mean, I was always kind of ribbons and bows and very reserved. I met a young woman over 6 years ago from London, England, and there was a bond. I've never had a daughter, always wanted one. And I feel now I have lots of daughters all over the world. But this young woman asked me to do a tattoo with her. And I thought, I'm just so not a tattoo kind of girl. But I thought if that was my child asking a stranger, and at that time we were close, but not like we are today, obviously. And I said, you know what? I'm not telling anybody this, because if I tell anybody this, everyone's going to say, oh, you're crazy. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. So off I went. I found a place to have a tattoo. We got matching tattoos. We did a WhatsApp, her in London, England, me in Montreal. And at the same time, we did this tattoo, which is the infinity sign, with a pink heart for her and a white heart for me, because that was our thing. And, we still talk every single day. Life happens. Things have gone up and down. And, she's had her struggles, but through it all, there's something magical that has happened in it. And, it's just, every time I meet somebody else, I go, how did I get so lucky to meet this person in a world with so many people? Like, I'm like floored every time it happens.
Yeah. But it happens, right? It's like that little story I was telling you before I got on here. And that's what I tell people all the time on here, like the craziest ways that I meet people, or the most amazing ways that I meet people. And God's just like, here you go. When you just said that about you guys getting matching tattoos. So if you look right here, I have my 1111 Make a Wish.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh my God, that's her favorite number.
is
Oh,
it? Oh, see, see how that works? So a friend of mine that I interviewed actually, when I first started, so 2 years ago, 3 now, he had kidney cancer, and he started getting matching tattoos with people all over. That's what reminded me of this. He unfortunately actually was just last year he passed away. It was a year ago, a couple days ago, but he had 600 and I think 54 or 670 matching tattoos with people all over the world. Like, and they would do Zooms or WhatsApp app. And then this was number 607 that I got with him. And but I said to him, and this is why I thought about it. I had said to him when I went to see him in the hospital last year before he was passing, another amazing person I met, right out of the 7 billion people, like you said. And I said, Don, I said, do you know how many lives you've changed? Because he just lived that last little bit of his life like out loud and just lived life. And he said, Tammy, do you know how many lives changed me? And I thought, man, I meet the most humble, amazing people in my life. And it's just like that, and I tell people, don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to reach out and, because that's how I met you, by reaching out, and it's incredible.
yeah. And listen, I mean, I did a reel yesterday on Instagram just because I'm lucky enough to have met some women in New York City, and they do work for mental health and addiction. And they put on a fashion show during New York Fashion Week. And they asked me to walk in it last year, which I did. And they asked me to do it again this year. And all of a sudden, and the same thing happened last year, all the insecurities started to
Oh,
just,
sure.
you're not 20, you're not 100 pounds, you are not 6'2", you're 5'2". And you get all that self-doubt. And yesterday, the amount of messages that I got from, because after I did it and I posted it, I said, oh my God, I can't believe I just posted that saying, I'm so insecure and my anxiety is high. And this, then you start that
Right.
self-doubt, I'm doing that. And the messages that I got were unbelievable. And that's my message today is reach out, because, telling your truth is going to help somebody else, but also help you. And
Yes.
even I know it's scary because I did it yesterday and I thought, oh my God, what have I done? And then this morning I woke up to all these wonderful messages, and then I felt like, just be you, be the best version of you, and that's going to be okay, right?
That's it. And so thanks for sharing that, because that's part of all mental health, right?
Yes.
Our mind is our worst bully in the world. You can have anybody can bully you, but you are the worst bully to yourself. And and like, I mean, you're okay, you're absolutely beautiful. And just to think, I gotta go watch your reel now because I haven't really got on there today at all and looked. But we have that in our head. I just had this the other day. I was getting ready to be on a podcast, and I was in my bathroom and I was getting ready, and I was like, what makes you think you're equipped enough to share your story? Do you really think your story was that bad? Do you really think that you can help? And I was like, wait a minute, who are you? Where did you come from? Because I'm pretty solid in my self-esteem and that now that I built it. It's taken a long time to get there, but man, it can come in just like that. And we have to be ready for it. And I'm just glad that you did post it. And I'm so happy that you got, people, because you are helping people, and you're probably helping so many women with that,
And people have to know that it's okay to say, I'm not that, I'm feeling lousy. And
Yes.
everybody could say you're great, but when
Yes.
you don't feel it,
Yes.
you need somebody to help you, and then you kind of go, oh, okay. And that's what I tell everybody else. But in fact, I still suffer from that. So it's okay, right?
Right. It's okay. And it's okay to be real, right? That's what you're saying right here. And I tell people that too, because I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I mean, I love it because I get out here and I try to help people. I hate it because of the comparison and all of that, and how many people look and they're like, oh my gosh, look at her, look at him, and I look like this. And I'm like, for one thing, they might not look like that. So, but because people aren't real on there and authentic. And I always tell people, I'm always going to be authentic. I'm always going to be real. I don't my life is not rainbows and unicorns. I don't walk outside and God puts this big bubble around me that says, I'm going to protect Tammy and I'm going to protect Kim from anything to come against them. It doesn't work like that. And I think that's what probably drew me to you too, is I could see the realism in you, and I'm just blessed to know you. And I'm super excited that you got on here with me today.
Well, for me, I think, I'm the lucky one that people choose me to be honest with and tell their stories and not be afraid. I mean, what a gift is that to
Yes.
be, you know, honored. Because to me, it's being honored that
Oh,
somebody trusts me enough to share, right?
yeah. Oh, 100%. I was just talking to the gentleman that I interviewed before you about that. Like, and I told him, I said, the greatest thing for me with these stories when I have people share, I love it, of course, when somebody messages me and said, oh my gosh, their story just helped me get through my day.
Yes.
But when the person that I talk to says to me, I've never shared that before. You made me feel so comfortable and I'm
Yes.
healing now. I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. But like you said, you just have that, you have that good energy and people feel comfortable around you. And it's an amazing thing that you're doing. I love that you're doing, I know Kim, you do Instagram lives, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Now, do you do those any set times or do you just
You
whenever?
know, it kind of started just by fluke actually, and then New Year's Eve I did the whole day. I was in my kitchen, and I was saying to myself, how everything was a nice day. I was getting prepared for like a nice dinner. My son was coming over, one of my sons, and just everything was like nice and calm and whatever. And just I don't know, out of somewhere, it just happened where I felt there must be people out there that are alone, that have nobody to share with, that are suffering today. So I decided to hop on all by myself, no guest. And I just said, okay, today's going to be like a Jerry Lewis marathon, but for sobriety. So whoever's suffering right now or feels low or whatever, hop on.
Nice.
And sure enough, we did it about, I would say, 30 times that day. And it was incredible, the people that hopped on.
Uh-huh.
And it was just like a 2-second thing where people would say, thank you, or I'm feeling alone. I'm going to go out for a walk, or I'm going to do something. And then I was saying to them, please reach out to somebody else. So it was kind of like one of those full circle moments. And
Yeah.
then some of the people that went on live with me did lives on their own Instagram, reaching to other people.
Yeah.
And there were people that sent messages to not just me, to other people, and said, thank you, because I was feeling so low. And
Oh,
my new year will start off so much better. So, and then it just kind of, because I've been always the guest on podcasts, I've never done this. And it just took a life of its own. And people said, can you have me on? Because I'd like to share my story. And I find there's so many young mothers and fathers, but mostly, I have more women. And, they really need support,
mhm.
right now. And I feel that if we can support them, or if they can share their story and feel like, because there's a lot of coaches, there's a lot of things, but a lot of it is expensive. And a lot of people don't have that kind of money. So
Right.
they need, just people to help them. And so that's what I'm all about.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's amazing. I'm so blessed to meet you. I just can't wait to see where this friendship goes and this journey goes with us together here. So
And I hope you come on an Instagram live with me to tell your story,
I
because
absolutely would
I
love.
know it, but for others to know it,
Yeah,
it's incredible.
thank you. I would absolutely love to do that. You just let me know when. So
Okay,
is
great.
there any last things that you want to say to anybody, Kim?
Well, there's one thing that I'd like to say is I have merchandise, and everybody seems to think, oh, she's like a t-shirt company kind of thing. I am far from being a t-shirt hoodie company. The merchandise that I have, all the proceeds, that once it's paid for, by the way, goes back to mental health and addiction, because I give away more than I sell, to be honest with you. But it's really to help people, because in my day, I guess it was more champagne and cocaine t-shirts than sober is the new cool. And I
Right.
guess people did say to me, you're wasting your time. You can't say cool and sober in the same sentence. And
Mm,
in fact, it is. So,
it is.
we are here just to help and to, inspire and empower anybody. And I just want actually everyone to know that they don't have to wait till they're 63 to know that they're enough.
Yes, that's awesome. And so what I'll do is I'll put the link to your to your t-shirts and stuff on the podcast. So that way people can check that out. So I'll be ordering one of those soon. Can't wait. Maybe I'll wear that on my 20-year sobriety party. That'd be awesome. So anyways, well, Kim, thank you so much for getting on here with me today. And I definitely would love to be a guest on your Instagram Live. It'd be fun. So
Yeah.
so everybody, thank you so much for getting on Hope. You know, I'm sure Kim's story inspired you. I don't know who needed to hear it, but I know that there's probably more than one person that needed to hear it because it's definitely an inspiring story. And I mean, 11 years sober, man. Kudos to you. That's awesome. And I'm just blessed, like I said, to meet you, and I can't wait to see where this goes farther. And everybody have a blessed day. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jen.